Hello again.
Hi.
And this week's topical discussion, probably the one with the most cultural differences between Scotland and America. Why do the Americans use cards so much versus mental mediumship? Whereas in Scotland, it's almost 90% mental mediumship. What do the Americans get out of card readings that Scotland is able to live without?
Well, I don't know, Devi. You're in America. Why don't you tell me?
I don't know. I had a card reading once that turned into mediumship. Well, sort of. She said she just was giving me a card reading, and then she said that, oh, your grandfather's here. Blah, 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 blah. And
Yeah.
he says, yeah.
I can never work out if it's because of the lack of training that the mediums feel safer with cards, or if it's because there's an innate demand amongst Americans for cards.
I don't know. I think it's easier to read with cards. It's almost, it's like a learning tool, a crutch almost.
Well, yeah, I mean, we use cards for people in the first 4 to 6 weeks to teach them to build their confidence.
Exactly.
But I mean, using cards is like, I mean, I don't know if you use these tools in America, but in primary school for kiddies about 5 or 6, 7 years old, when they're learning basic, I mean, and we're talking basic arithmetic,
Right.
we give them colored bits of stick called rods.
We don't get those. Well, I don't know, but some schools may. I don't know.
Right. You know, they're different lengths for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 9. And they learn very quickly that if they put 1 and 2 together, they can put 3 on top of it. So that 1 and 2 makes 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's the equivalent tool that I say for cards.
Yes. Not
Anyway.
quite. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, introduction's over. Let's get our news section up and
We have
running.
news.
Oh, God, we've got so much news. I don't even know where to start. So there we go. Let me show the news brand. So where to start? Well, the work on the AI system is continuing. Very soon, we're going to be able to introduce a demonstration, a live working model of the new member of staff. It does have a visual feel to it now. So let me just get this in place. I work with all sorts of people. I mean, Devi, this is the true Devi. Well,
I never should have sent that picture to you.
Yeah, I'm going to use it week in, week out. Now I'm going to put it into the intro video.
I'm sure you are.
Let me introduce you to the rain. Very specific. It's Scottish, so it's in a kilt. It's raining, multicolored to represent spiritual rain, and it's a spirit, so it's a ghostie in a kilt. We've had a legal dispute. I wouldn't call it a legal dispute, but we've been notified by Facebook that the music we're using, just to be absolutely clear, we got it from a royalty-free site, Canva, that are supposed to handle all of that. But apparently the people that wrote the music are claiming that they own it. So I'm not disputing. Well, Sir Walter Scott owns the music. I mean, that's all fine. We're allowed to use it, but Facebook has arbitrarily said that half of our advertising income. Now, let's just be absolutely clear. We're not doing these for advertising income. There's no sponsorship. We're not charging anything, and we're not trying to get any adverts anywhere. But half of that zero income has now been allocated to the owners of the music.
Isn't that nice of them? That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Facebook.
So if you're watching and if you're expecting millions of pounds in royalty payments, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but
it just isn't going to happen.
Then again, if there's somebody out there that wants to sponsor us and pay us money, I'm not gonna dispute giving you half of it, whoever you are.
There you go.
That's pretty much about it for news, except of course we're coming up to Christmas. We've had 2 open circles in a row where we've had a lot of people turn up late. The first open circle, we had enough people to do the circle, and the people we're basically just told after 10 minutes, go away, and we continued with the circle. Tonight, we actually closed the circle down. A lot of people did turn up after the 10 minutes, but Devi and I are not going to sit twiddling our thumbs for half an hour in the option that people think they can come in. When we say an open circle starts at 8 o'clock UK time, or Devi, whatever time that is in the States, let's say 3 p.m. Eastern, then that's the start time. So if you're watching this and if you're gumumsed and upset, sorry, folks. We're running a business and we want to be punctual.
And being late just shows disrespect. So
absolutely
try to be here on time.
Now, you may notice that I've got a different video behind me and I'm looking in the wrong direction. This is simply because of a camera set up for a big announcement I'm going to make. Hello, kitty cat. Big announcement I'm going to make in about 10 minutes.
Hello, that was Mala. And this is Persephone over here.
But let's get back to subject. So, we gave our introductory sort of thought process about cards. I once went to a big psychic fair, and it was my first real big time exposure to how spiritualism, mediumship works in the States. It was in Chicago. There were about 3,000 people came to this event, paying money to get in, going around lots of tables. There must have been about 20 mediums there, or people that were doing readings. With the exception of Devi Wolf, the other woman I was going with, who also used cards, let's be blunt.
Did she use cards? I didn't know she used to use cards.
Yeah, no, Devi uses cards. Every other medium there was using cards. I sat and just did my usual mental mediumship, and I was fully booked for the whole afternoon, for the full days I was working, and there were people queuing up, desperate to get readings from me, and they actually couldn't get them because I was doing 2 long readings. If I was going back, I'd have kept my readings a lot shorter, but there were a couple of really heavy duty readings I was doing, and I just felt I wanted to keep them going to give the people what they needed. Yeah, it happens. It's just a side effect of spiritual mediumship. So we do use cards, but I don't like using cards. I'm going to be blunt. When I do use cards, I usually often, as Devi described at the beginning, slip into mediumship, pure just mental mediumship mode, and I keep the cards up just to let the person that's getting the reading feel comfortable because they want to suck a baby's dummy, basically, and even as the scissor. Why is that? You're American. You got more experience to this than I have.
I don't know. As far as I know, most readers in America, there aren't that many mediums in those kinds of psychic fairs. There's a lot of tarot readers. And I know that's a lot of the cards you were seeing.
Yeah.
But since nobody does, I mean, even the mediums use cards. I think maybe because they need that as a crutch, or they're not hooked up to spirit at all, and they're just
well, certainly
intuitively from the card.
Yeah, I mean, on the tarot side, I would absolutely agree with that. I mean, a lot of my card packs, and big secret, folks here, although I don't like doing card readings, I collect cards, and I thought I had a lot more. I did an audit of them, made a list of them, and it's just over 50. I'm going to have to go and buy a lot more.
I guess so. I'm going to have to send you some.
But that aside, I mean, a lot of the card packs I've got are tarot cards, but I still use them as oracle cards. I don't use them. I mean, you'll never ever see me putting cards out in a pattern and sort of sitting, this card means, and that card means, and this card means. I suppose. Debbie?
I do that sometimes.
Right. Okay. I suppose really, what we should maybe do is explain how a medium can use cards in a training when they're learning or because they don't have the confidence.
Yeah. Why don't you tell us how you explain to your students how to use cards?
Yeah. Well, let me give you an example. When I was in my we're talking a decade and a half or maybe even 2 decades ago. In fact, it's probably nearer 2 decades ago. I was sitting being trained, and a medium came to do a workshop. It was at Portobello Spiritualist Church. So this was in a church. And they were using cards to do spiritual readings with cards. And I got a card. It was a pack of cards of sort of King Arthur style characters, and this was a woman. The dress style.
Like the Rider-Waite, the original Rider-Waite deck. Okay.
Honestly, I can't remember, but
Oh.
she's in the dress. The dress, the type of dress that you would see in the King Arthur movie, basically.
Right.
Just to picture it, and nice background. So I was giving a reading to this woman who was there as well, and I looked at the card, and I actually saw the woman, sort of her body outline, have outlines at the top of her legs, below her sort of pelvis area, and at the top or the breast area. And basically what I was seeing was the outline of a bra top and running shorts. So it was basically a running outfit, essentially. Okay. Now, it was just the outline on top of the dress. Now, there was no outline in the dress. I was seeing it on the picture.
You were just seeing it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they were putting the image in my head, like an outline of on top of the woman's dress.
Right.
So I said to the woman I was giving the reading, can you understand you or a spirit doing running? And she basically came straight back to me and said, oh, God, that's weird. I've just bought myself a new running kit to go out jogging.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. And the rest of the reading continued, and it worked exactly the same way. So basically the way it works is I get them to draw a card, look at the card, and their attention, they'll see details in the card. It may be imaginary. And, it's not imaginary, but spirit may be putting the image in their head in the card, or they're drawn to an element in the card, and then they just use that to give the information. It can be something as simple as an animal, a color, etc.
Right.
Just exactly the same way that mental mediumship works, that spirit give you something and you have to interpret what the meaning of that is.
Right.
It's very gaga. I was joking when I said baby's dummy, but that's essentially what cards are. It's for somebody that's got no confidence to give a mental mediumship reading. Am I being too derogatory?
You're being a little harsh, I think, but you always are. So.
Yeah, you never know me to be like.
No, I can take a card. I pull a card at random here, the Hierophant, and just so you can see that. I don't have my second camera set up. And say, well, it's a tree, and I'm seeing trees and clocks. And then what's going to happen is Spirit's going to take over.
Yeah.
Tell me what I need to know.
Yeah, I'll be honest. When I have been asked to give card readings, I just pretend. I'm looking at the card, and I just do mental mediumship. Now, I always tie it into the card exactly as you just described. I'll start with, I see this picture X, Y, Z. I see this, I see that. But once I've got the attention of the sitter, the person I'm giving the reading to, sorry if I'm using jargon you don't recognize, folks, but that's what we call people that get readings, the sitter. I just literally move straight into mental mediumship, and the way it works. I do
too.
You give them 3 bits of evidence, and they're going, "Oh my God, how did you bring Uncle Harry forward?"
Right.
Because that's what I do. I'm a medium.
Right.
And then I straight into the message.
Right.
I suppose if you're doing a card reading, let me just bring up. This is from the collection, Game of Thrones Tarot.
Oh, I want that one.
Yeah. Remember always that there's no power in the cards.
Of course not.
They will collect energy if you're doing reading. If you're doing multiple readings, so you always lose the energy of the cards. Choose a card, which I've just chosen randomly, and you put it down on the table. Now, I've already got one set up. So, Devi, you want to sing and dance for a few seconds?
Sing and dance. La, 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 la. Well, Marc has to change his camera setup because he's got 2 cameras, one for the card and one for him. And I didn't have that set up, which is why I did that. But he needs to get off his singleness and come back to his 2 cameras. So that is why Marc went away. And let's talk about my cat, Persephone. Persephone, hi, baby. Isn't she pretty? She's a cover girl. She's on the cover of a couple calendars last year and this year. I'm so proud of her. Anyway, so cards, I love cards for tarot or oracle readings. But I think that most of the people who read cards intuitively get their intuitiveness from spirit instead of what the cards actually say.
Devi, you can stop singing and dancing. I'm back.
We talked about my cats. Here comes another.
I heard you. I was listening to you. Okay, folks. So just to be a wee bit background, you'll see lots of people on Facebook that give readings with cards. And I'm always very hysterical because they sit there and, you're looking at like Devi. Let's just imagine Devi. Devi, give us a demonstration of you doing a card reading on Facebook. Just show them what it would look like.
Oh, the 10 of Cups. Let's see. That means that I'm making this up. By the way, I don't know what 10 of Cups means. That means that there are 10 fishes that are going to be.
But Devi, are you not going to show me the card?
Oh, sorry. Here you go.
Okay, folks. So that's what I wanted to achieve. So the next time you see somebody doing card readings on Facebook, I bet you it's 95% like what Devi just did, trying to get the card up. Whereas, with a little bit of technology, now look at me. I'm showing you the card. I'm going to choose another card. The Lovers. You don't believe me? Well, let me just take that away. And let me just put in the Lovers. Aww. So I can now read the card, and you, the sitter, can see the card as I do my hocus pocus around the card. Sorry, my hands. The camera. Anyway, now I've made it quite clear what my thoughts are about cards, but let me just do a little announcement. Yes, we're expanding. Yay. Like I said, I've been doing account of my card collection, and I want to use it. Now, what I'm going to do is a stream broadcast, like for example, my card collection, which is the Game of Thrones. Obviously, I'm collecting cards that are tied into programs, events, things that interest me. And I'll do a half-hour stream going through the cards and showing you the cards, maybe put in some videos from whichever program or event it's about. But this is the big but. If people want to get a card reading from me, even although I don't like using cards, I'll accept that there's a demand out there for it and I'll accommodate you. But you're going to have to come online with me. None of this, I mean, you saw what Devi was doing in the example. This is another criticism I've got of card readers. They're just, actually, this is a criticism I've got of people that do readings on Facebook across the board. And this includes spiritual mediums. You watch them, they sit and give the readings, give the cards, never mind the fact you can't see the cards properly. There'll be lots of people following them, desperate to get a reading, and they'll get the occasional comment coming up, which is fair enough, or you'll see the comments if it's on Facebook and they're chatting there. But you watch the comments in relation to what they're talking about, they get it wrong, they move on. They don't take the, can you take that, and wait for the yes. Some of them do. I mean, it's a generalization I'm making about everybody in that statement. But when you get a reading from me or Devi, you've got to come online with us so that people can see the interaction between the medium and the sitter. If your face says it's wrong, people get to see that reaction. When we get it right and you're happy, they get to see the tears in your eyes of joy. And I get a lot of people crying.
That's the best part. Yeah.
That's the best part of working for Spirit. Okay, so don't know when I'm going to be doing this. It's probably going to be early January. I'm still working on the camera setup. You can see the silver background, etc. You can see the wee square in the background, and I was fiddling around with cameras. But working on it, and I might add a third camera so you can actually see me drawing the card. Really want to do this properly.
3 cameras. Ooh, complex. That's why it's going to take him till January, because he's going to got to figure out that 3rd camera.
And also, just to be clear, when we're training people as mediums, we include technical training on how to use things like these cameras. People like Devi maybe choose not to do it, but it's not that expensive. I mean, the setup to do this, green screen, 2 cameras, working computer, you've probably already got 95% of what I just listed there.
I've got everything but the green screen.
Yeah.
So I just kind of decorated my room. Yeah.
Yeah. But you do need the green screen to have yourself sitting beside the card like that.
Yes. Sitting like you are. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked talking about what I'm going to be doing. Let's get back to this dumb skull American place for cards.
Back to cards.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Is it because America doesn't have the church network that we have in Scotland? So remember, our mediums predominantly get trained in the churches, and they do train cards in church circles as well, but only for training, only the way that I do it.
Yeah. A lot of American mediums don't get trained at all. They're self-discovered mediums. And the training they get is online, like a Facebook, or a brief seminar or something like that. Or online circles on Facebook or stuff like that. So a lot of mediums are self-taught, which is why, because we don't have a network of churches here to teach us.
Okay. So I'm right then. It's the lack of churches that are doing it.
Lack of churches or training centers. Nobody's doing mediumship training, really. There's a few.
Well, there's us.
And there's us. There's a few in the States, too, that are doing it. I don't know what their training consists of, because I obviously haven't gone to their courses, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This is just to crack a personal joke here. I'm the Scottish medium, and you're the smallest medium, and I'm tiny, and you're big.
Oh, here we are. Yes, I'm big today, and he's little.
I'm going to have to do something about that, but never mind. Okay, folks. So, personal request from us. If you are watching us here, that's the wrong one. That's the right one.
There we go.
Don't know where you're seeing this, but if you see it on YouTube, please subscribe. If you see it on Facebook, please follow. Please leave comments. Please leave likes. All helps us to build the brand, which we're trying to do. Why are we trying to build the brand? Very simple. We are getting Rain, the AI that we've been working on and talking about in event after event, is due to be going live in January, like the 1st or the 2nd of January. I'm not going to give an exact date. And we'll be advertising again. So the circles, which we're winding down for Christmas, are going to be opening up again. So that when people see the adverts and they go searching, who's this Marc Stuart? Who's this Devi Wolf? They can find us, and they can find talks like this. Just adds credibility to who we are, etc. Right. So this goes on to about 7 or 8 Facebook pages, 2 profiles, YouTube, sometimes LinkedIn. Wherever you're seeing it, please. We're begging you. We're begging you.
Beg, please like and follow.
And remember, if you want to know, we do these twice a week, Wednesday and Thursday. Devi, what times is it in America?
That is 5:30 Eastern, 4:30 Central, 3:30 Mountain, and 2:30 Pacific.
And that basically means 10:30 in the UK. So, except when we change our clocks for 2 weeks twice a year, then it gets very confusing.
And then it gets really, really confusing. I never figure it out, and we always mess up.
Yeah. So just remember, always check the time against the UK time. Whatever time it is in the UK, you adjust the American times. I know we're trying to target America, but I can't get up at 11:30.
He can't figure it out. So
yeah. Okay. So if there's anybody watching us that would like to come to the circle that we're running at 11 o'clock, this is probably going to be the last circle for this year. Probably will not be doing any more. We will be doing the streaming events, but not until January. Now, that bit down there that says /newsletter, if you would like to know what we're talking about, we do a different subject matter each event. Subscribe for that newsletter. You'll get an email newsletter once a month, which will give you the next 5 or 6 events.
And what we'll be talking about.
What we're talking about, and direct links through to Facebook so that you can register, so that when we go live, you'll get notification. Okay, so back to the subject, Debbie. What more can you say?
What are we saying about cards? Well, the fact that Mark doesn't like them. I like them. I think they have uses. I mean, they're great. I love tarot readings.
Well, okay.
It's just different than a spiritual reading.
Here's my book from my Game of Thrones tarot cards.
Okay.
And it is a tarot card. Would you use your equivalent book for the... I'm not going to try and read it because I don't have my reading glasses on. It's too small for me.
Okay.
But would you read out the text if you were doing a reading?
Would I read out? No.
Well, that's strange, because in the Circle and Infernal Spiritualist Church, where I trained, when they use cards, they're not afraid to use the textbook.
They want the book with it?
Yeah.
No. I mean, I do. Like, I will look in the book the first time I use a set of cards. I have a general idea what most of the meanings are for the like major arcana and most of them and the suits. But I will look it up if I'm reading for myself. I would not give someone else a tarot reading because I don't have things memorized. It would have to be completely intuitive.
But remember, we're not using it as a tarot card. I mean, we're not laying them out in
We're not using it as tarot cards. That's the difference. Yeah.
Yeah. But
I just don't know how many people that you see cards are tarot readers versus mediums who use cards.
Well, remember, oracle cards, which are the ones that mediums are supposed to use, have a book as well.
Yes, they do.
So even if you're using a set of oracle cards that are not tarot cards, you still get a book and you still get definition. Now, why is that an important question? It's quite simple. Because if you're doing a spiritual reading, it's quite conceivable, in fact, it's definite, that spirit will guide the card for you to choose. Right. There may be something in the picture of that card that spirit wants to draw your attention to. I mean, for example, cats. There might be a card that's got a cat in it, and the spirit might have been known to the person because they always kept cats. Right. So you draw out the card, and your mind, the first thing that the spirit does is it guides your mind to the card. So
unless you're using the cat tarot, which I have, and then they're all cats. So
yeah. So okay. So I mean, there might be but on the same logic as you being drawn to the specific picture in the specific card, the card itself might have a meaning. So again, have the book to hand so you can very quickly read it. You know, my big professional teaching voice. My deep Scottish accent, excuse me, you can very quickly look up the page on the book, scan through the definition, and it might just be that that's the card that says they're going to they're going to be financially secure in the next 24 hours.
It's awfully hard though, because depending on like this tarot deck that I'm using, the Shadowscape tarot, the descriptions can be 2 pages long.
Yeah, but Debbie, do you not know how to speed read?
No. I read pretty fast, but no, I wouldn't stop a reading in the middle to...
Neither would I, but I can speed read a page in 20 seconds.
Good for you.
Anybody can, you know how. Okay, I'm quite clearly going to have to expand the training in our mediumship classes.
I'll tell you what, I would never go see a tarot reader who had to look in the book. But
we're not doing tarot readings.
I understand.
I
just don't think so, because I think what you're getting, you need to get from the picture.
Yeah, no, I agree. Absolutely. I mean, 90% of what you're doing in the reading should come from the card.
Right.
Looking at it. Anyway, folks, we're running out of time. We're down to our last 30 seconds. We're off to do our last circle for this year, as nobody has volunteered. I'm afraid we are going to have to end it. So it's been a pleasure. We will be back on Wednesday. I can't remember what we're talking about on Wednesday. I'm sorry. I should have looked it up. But good night.
Was it ethics?
Honestly can't remember.
I don't remember, but we'll look it up, guys.
We'll look it up before we do it. We promise.
Figure it out.